Hello everyone, and welcome to our video on English greetings for beginners. In this video, we are going to discuss some of the most common greetings and introduction phrases in the English language. This video is going to be great for anyone who is new to speaking English and would like to learn a little bit more about how to greet and introduce themselves and just generally how to start off a conversation in English. So let's go ahead and get started with our first phrase. So first we have hi and hello. Hi, hello. Hi and hello essentially mean the same thing. One is just a shortened version of the other. So both of these words, both hi and hello, are very common greetings. They can be used universally. You can use this with just about anyone that you meet in the English language. You can use this just to greet anyone that you meet. This is going to be a great conversation starter and definitely two variations of a phrase that you're going to want to know. Once again, pronunciation, we have hi and hello. So next, another greeting phrase we're going to start off with good morning. Now, good morning is a way of greeting someone. Once again, you can use this universally with anyone that you might want to greet. This, however, is used in the morning hours. So when you first get up and during the first couple morning hours before you hit lunchtime, you would greet someone by saying, good morning. Good morning. So next, another introduction phrase would be good afternoon. So you'll notice we have good once again, but this time our second word is afternoon. Good afternoon. So good afternoon is once again a way to greet someone, but this would be once you hit around lunchtime. So once you hit noon, that's where you would stop saying good morning and you would start saying good afternoon. And next we have good evening. Now we've already talked about good morning, good afternoon, and now we have good evening. Good evening. So good evening is another very universal phrase. You can use this to greet anyone. Once again, the difference here is the time of day. So we had good morning in those first couple morning hours. We had good afternoon once we hit noon or around lunchtime. But now, once we get closer to the evening hours, once the sun starts setting, you're going to greet someone with good evening. So good evening. And next, our next phrase here is almost more of a way to say goodbye to someone or to end a conversation. So this word is actually good night. Good night. So good night is another phrase that we use very commonly in English. Now, this can be used in a couple ways. This can be a little bit of a greeting if you're out at night, but more commonly it's going to be used if you are getting ready to leave, but it's also going to be used if you're getting ready to go to bed. So if you're, say, at your house and you want to say, bid farewell to your family members and you're getting ready to go to bed, you would tell them good night and then you would go off and go to bed. If you are out with a group of people and you're going home for the night, you're just going to be completely leaving. That's when you could tell them good night, especially if it's dark outside and you're going to be just going home for the rest of the day. You would say good night to them as well. So once again, we have good night. And again, this is a little bit more of how to say goodbye to someone or to tell them essentially that you are leaving for the remainder of the day. Now, next, let's look at a question. So we have, how are you? How are you? This is extremely commonly used in English, especially in the United States. This is takes the form of a greeting in English. So, How are you? So if you are out and you pass someone, this can even be used for strangers, someone you just met, someone that you are talking to in a store, a customer, for example, if you happen to work in customer service somewhere. How are you is very common. Essentially, it's just a way of asking someone how they are doing. And in the United States, especially, it really takes almost the place of a greeting, such as, hi, how are you? It almost blends together. Hi, how are you? So let's look at some ways that you could respond to this. So if someone comes up and says, hi, how are you? Or how are you? How are some ways that you could respond? So commonly, you say, I'm good. How are you? I'm good. How are you? So you are answering the question with I'm good. This is a way of telling someone that you're doing well. I have that underlined because there are some additional things that you can add there. So we're going to go through that in a moment. But first, you are answering the question and then you are reciprocating. So then you are asking that person how they are doing. So if someone says, hi, how are you? You could respond, I'm good. How are you? So you're asking that person in return how they are doing as well. So I have a good underlined. Let's look at another example. So we have I'm fine. How are you? This is a little less common. Usually people say I'm good. But once again, these are all perfectly fine examples. You would just want to fill in the blank here for yourself. But I'm fine. This is another way of telling someone that you're doing well or that you're good. And again, reciprocating with how are you? And another way is I'm doing well. How are you? Once again, kind of the same as saying I'm good, but I'm doing well. It's kind of a state of being. I'm doing well. How are you? It's also important to kind of reciprocate that. It's very polite. If someone asks how you're doing, you want to ask them how they're doing. So, hi, how are you? I'm good. How are you? And you reciprocate that. And of course, then that person will respond in kind as well. And that's just an extremely common greeting in English. Another common phrase to learn is going to be thank you. Thank you. This is extremely polite. If someone holds the door open for you, you want to say thank you. You want to thank them for doing something kind for you. If someone gives you a gift, you want to say thank you. Again, it's just a way of showing gratitude to someone in English. Another way that you could respond if someone thanks you, says thank you to you, a response would be you're welcome. So if you gave a gift to someone and they said thank you, for example, you could respond to them with you're welcome. That's an acknowledgement of the gratitude that they have shown and the response that you would use to the word thank you. Okay, next, let's look at another question that is very commonly used in English. And that is, what is your name? What is your name? What is your name is a way of asking someone what they are called. So if you don't know this person, you're just meeting them for the very first time, you don't know what to call them or what their name is, you're going to want to ask. So what is your name is a way of asking someone to tell you what their name is and what they are called. So let's say someone asks you that. Someone says to you, what is your name? How could you respond in English? Well, you would want to respond with my name is, and then what your name is. You're going to want to fill in the blank with your name. So, for example, if your name was Sally, you could say, my name is Sally. For example, if your name was Robert, you'd want to put that in there as well. So, my name is Robert. So, you're going to want to make sure to put your name in the blank there, and the response would be, my name is, and then enter your name. So let's say you have introduced yourself to someone and that you know their name and you know they know yours and you have met this person. Something else that is very common and very polite in English to say is it's nice to meet you. It's nice to meet you. It's nice to meet you. This is very polite. This is just a way of saying that you're delighted to meet this person. You're glad to know them. It's not mandatory to say this in introductions in English, but it's very common and it's very polite, especially if you've never met this person before. You want to show essentially gratitude and that you are very happy to have met this person. So this is just something that you can put in there to say as well if you've just met a brand new person. Now, let's look at another question. So, another question that's very common in English is where do you work or what do you do? What do you do? I know that can look a little bit strange. What do you do? What they are asking there is what do you do for a living? What is your job? Where do you work? So this is another very common thing. It's common in small talk in English. If you are in a group of people that maybe you don't know each other very well, you're trying to get to know one another. These are very common questions that you might receive. Just know that where do you work and what do you do essentially mean the same thing. They're asking about your occupation and what you do for a living. Next, another phrase is goodbye. So this would be a way of ending a conversation in English. You're going to say goodbye to someone. So if you are ending a conversation, you're leaving, you're going home, you're going back somewhere else, and you are leaving that situation, saying goodbye is a very common way to end a conversation with a person or a group of people. So once again, it's goodbye. Another common phrase would be see you, and then you would fill in the appropriate phrase. So it's very common to say see you later. This is a way of essentially ending a conversation and going and kind of moving on to somewhere else, or if you have to leave or go, say see you later. This is just a way of telling that person that you'll see them again just later on. See you later. If you know when you're going to see that person, sometimes you will fill in with a phrase specific to that situation. So, for example, see you tomorrow. So, if you are working with someone and you know you're going to be seeing them at work again tomorrow and you're going home for the evening, you could say see you tomorrow because you know you're going to see that person again at work the next day. Another example would be see you next Tuesday. This is just another example of, let's say you are going to see that person, but you're not going to see them until next Tuesday, for example. So you have kind of a date set up or you have, a meeting set up with that person and you know it's going to happen on a certain day. In this example, it would be Tuesday, which is a day of the week in English. You could say see you next Tuesday because you both know that you're going to see each other at that meeting or that date or that appointment the next Tuesday. You can fill in those blanks. You can say see you and then fill in with whatever applies to your situation. So I hope this video was helpful to you and to your first introductions and greetings in the English language. This video was brought to you by Remote Language Online Learning. And if you like this video and you're interested in learning languages with us, please be sure to like and follow us and check us out on social media. We're on Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube, and also don't forget to like the video down below and subscribe to our channel for our latest language learning videos. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next lesson.